Good morning, mathematicians. It's Mrs. Capizzi, and today is day 18 of remote learning, and it is Wednesday, April 8th. So your tasks for today are to choose one problem from the warm-up and to complete it. And we're continuing with 10-3, multiply a fraction by a whole number. And today you're going to complete numbers 7 through 17 on page 557. So here is the warm-up page, and I went over this yesterday. So you want to make sure that you have the one from week 4. And before you start this, also make sure that you have the one from week 3 completed first. So today you just need to pick one of these to complete. So you should have done one yesterday, and today you'll just pick a second one. And for the 10-3 lesson, you're going to continue on page 557. So we were up here yesterday doing 3, 4, 5, and 6, and today we're going to be on the bottom completing 7 through 17. I didn't think there was enough space here for you to be able to see well enough, so what I did was I copied all the problems on a piece of lined paper, and feel free to do that yourself as well if you need more space to work. So let's start off with, I'm going to model number 7, and then I would like you to pause the video and try 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 on your own, and then we'll come back and check them. So let me first go ahead and model number 7. So I have 4 times 1/3, so that means I would have 4 copies of 1/3. So I will multiply my whole number times the numerator, and then my denominator will stay 3. So then I've got 4 times 1 is 4, and my denominator is 3. So 4/3 I can rewrite as a mixed number. So the first thing I'm going to do is look at my denominator is thirds, so I'm going to see how many 3/3 I can make, because 3/3 is equivalent to 1 whole. So I can make 1, but I can't do another 3/3 because that would bring me to 6, which is more than my numerator of 4. So 3 plus, I can do 1 more third. So I've got 3/3 plus 1/3, and then I'm going to go ahead and circle all the fractions that are equivalent to 1 whole. So I only have one of those, so I'm going to rewrite that as 1 is my big whole number, and 1/3 I just put right next to it. So 4 times 1/3 is 1 and 1/3, and I'll circle that, so that is my final answer. So pause the video, please, and go ahead and try 8 through 15, and we'll come back and check them. And then after we do that, then we'll go over 16 and 17 together. Welcome back. Remember, I am trusting that you tried these all on your own. So make sure that you did these on your own before you check your work. And you can pause the video at any time if you need to take some notes down. So here, let's try number 8. 6 times 3/8. So I've got 6 times 3, my whole number times my numerator, over 8. So 6 times 3 is 18, and that's 18/8. So now I'm going to skip count by 8s to see how close I can get to 18 without going over. So 8, 16, 24. I know 24 is too much, so the closest I can get is 1, 2. So I can rewrite this as 8 eighths plus 8 eighths, which would give me 16 eighths, and I would need another 2 more because 16 plus 2 gets me 18. So I will go ahead and circle all of my whole numbers. So I have 2 of them. So 1, 2, so I can rewrite that as 2, and I'll put my fraction piece right next to it. So 2 and 2 eighths. Let's try number 9. So I've got 8 times 2 fifths. So I'm going to rewrite that as 8 times 2 over 5. And 8 times 2 is 16, so I've got 16 fifths. Now this time my denominator is 5, so I'm going to see how close I can get to 16. So if I skip count by 5s, 5, 10, 15, 20, that's too much, so I can see I can get 1, 2, 3. So I'll rewrite that as 5 fifths plus 5 fifths plus 5 fifths, and then I'll have 1 left over because 5 plus 5 plus 5 is 15, and 1 more would give me 16 fifths. So I'll go ahead and circle all the 1 wholes. So I've got 1, 2, 3, so I'm going to write my big 3, and I'll stick the leftover fraction piece right next to it. So 8 times 2 fifths is 3 and 1 fifth. Let's go ahead and take a look at number 10. So here I've got 12 times 5 over 6. So if you don't know your facts up through 12, you can do this off to the side. So I've got 12 times 5. 5 times 2 is 10. So I drop my 0 and regroup my 1. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 1 is 6. So 12 times 5 is 60. So this gives me 66. And you may recognize already that 60 is a multiple of 6. So another way you can do this, if I can do division, so 60 divided by 6. So you could write it like this, but this is actually one of our basic facts plus zeros. So I'm going to actually rewrite it like this. 60 divided by 6, and I have my basic fact of 6 divided by 6, which equals 1 plus 1, 0. So this whole thing, so 60 divided by 6, my answer would be 10 wholes. So there's no fraction part left over. And let's take a look at number 11. Okay, so here we've got 11 times 2 over 3. So this gives me 22 thirds. So I can skip count by 3s. So I've got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, and 21. And that's the closest I'm going to be able to get to 22. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 whole numbers that I can make. So I would have 3 thirds. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that gets me to 21, and then 1 more third left over. So I'll go ahead and circle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have 7, excuse me, 7, and then I put my 1/3 right next to it. And let's take a look at number 12. I've got 5 times 7 over 8. So 5 times 7 is 35. 35 eighths. So I'll skip count by 8s. So I've got 8, 16, 24, 32. And that's the closest I'm going to be able to get to 35. So you might start seeing that you don't have to always write this out. So if I know this is 1, 2, 3, 4, that's going to be 4 holes. And let's see how many eighths I would have left over. So 30, to get from 32 to 35, I would need 3 more eighths. So that would be if you feel comfortable skipping this step, but if you don't, you can certainly go ahead and you'll make 8 eighths plus 8 eighths plus 8 eighths plus 8 eighths. So that would be 8, 16, 24, 32, and then I would have 3 eighths left over. So if you did it this way, you should have had 1, 2, 3, 4 circled and 3 eighths left over, and you'll see that would still get you 4 and 3 eighths. All right, and let's take a look at the last 3. So I've got 7 times 3/4, so that would be 7 times 3 over 4, or 21/4. So I'll skip count by 4s. I've got 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and that's the closest I'm going to be able to get to 21. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 holes. And let's see how many fourths. Your denominator is still going to stay 4. And to get from 20 to 21 would be 1 more fourth. So the answer here would be 5 and 1/4. And I forgot to circle my answers up here. So I'm going to go back and circle my answer for number 11 and circle my answer for number 12 so that it's easier for your teacher to see what you got. Okay. Let's finish up with the last 2. So here, I have my windows open and I think that the pollen's kind of getting to me. So here I've got 9 times 3 over 5. So that's 27 fifths. So I'm going to skip count by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and that's the closest I'll be able to get to 27. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 holes, and remember my denominator is still going to stay 5. So if I was able to get up to 25, I would need 2 more to get to 27. So that would be 5 and 2/5. And the last one here, I've got 4 times 5 over 8, so that gives me 20 eighths. So I'll skip count by my denominator of 8, 8, 16, and that's the closest I'm going to be able to get. So I'll go back and I'll do it this way. I've got 8 eighths plus 8 eighths, which gets me to 16 eighths. So 16 to 20, I would need 4 more. So 4 eighths. And then I'll go ahead and circle all of my whole numbers. 1, 2. So that would be 2 holes and 4 eighths left over. So my mixed number would be 2 and 4 eighths. So make sure you give yourselves a big star if you got those. And let's go ahead and take a look at number 16 and 17. So number 16 says, calculate the total distance Mary runs if she runs 7 miles each day. Oh, you know what I forgot to put in here? Mary runs in 1 week. That is very important information. In 1 week. So why is that important? Because each day she runs 7/8 of a mile, and we know that there are 7 days in 1 week. So my apologies, I forgot to recopy that when I was writing the problem on lined paper. So I know that there are 7 days in a week, and each of those days she runs 7/8 of a mile. So you'll need to calculate 7 times 7/8. And for number 17, calculate the length of 5 pieces of ribbon laid end to end if each piece is 2/3 long. Excuse me. I'm going to grab my water real quick. So I'm going to draw a model for this. 1, it's because I have 5 pieces, 2 pieces, 3 pieces, 4 pieces, 5 pieces. So each of these pieces, boy, I'm going to have to shut my windows when this is done. Each of these pieces is 2/3 of a yard long. So I just wanted to give you a visual representation of what end to end means. It means that you just lay them right next to each other. So here you can see I have 5 pieces and each is 2/3 long. So you'll need to calculate 5 times 2/3. So go ahead and pause the video, and when you're done solving 16 and 17, press play again so you can review your answers. Welcome back, calculating cats. So here we've got 7 times 7 over 8, and 7 times 7 is 49, so I've got 49/8. So I will skip count by 8s. So I've got 8, 16, 24, 32, I'm getting closer, 40, I'm getting closer, 48. So that's going to be the closest I can get to 49. And this is really great practice, the skip counting, to help you with your multiplication facts as well. So that's why we really encourage our students to skip count as opposed to use a multiplication chart. So here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so my whole number will be 6. My denominator stays 8. And to get from 48 to 49 would be 1 more. So what will my unit be? And we talked about labeling your units yesterday. So 6 1/8. It would be 6 1/8 miles ran in 1 week. So it's important to write a little sentence or explanation. So here, this would be my answer to the problem. And you don't want to just write 6 1/8 because you want to just be able to explain what your answer means. So let's take a look at number 17. 5 times 2 over 3. So this would equal 10/3. So if I skip count by 3s, I've got 3, 6, 9, and that's going to be the closest I can get. So I've got 3/3 plus another 3/3 plus another 3/3. That gets me to 3, 6, 9, and then to get 10 would be 1 more third. Or you could have just known that your whole number would be 1, 2, 3. So here I'm going to circle all of my whole numbers, 1, 2, 3. So that's going to be my big whole number, and then I put the fraction right next to it. And again, what is my unit? So calculating the length, so the length is measured in yards, so it would be 3 1/3 yards. And I'm just going to abbreviate that to YDS because I'm running out of space. So you can use YDS or you can just write the word yards. So I hope that this video was helpful. Please reach out to your teachers if you have any additional questions. We'd be happy to help you. and we miss you terribly, and we hope that you have a wonderful day.